Hey, what's up, everyone? And thank you for joining us for Rogues Gallery's TCG's first TCG video. We're doing a little bit. We're trying to delve in a little bit more into TCG now, not just Master Duel. And I hope all of you enjoy it. This is super exciting. I'm very pumped to introduce TCG content into Rogues Galleries. I know we have definitely been focusing on Master Duel, but honestly, the Master Duel format has been so just not fun for me. I just been really enjoying TCG with the Ryzeal Malice format is actually so fun. I have really enjoyed playing against Ryzeal. I think Malice offers a really interesting puzzle to solve, how to interrupt it, how to hand trap it, and I definitely recommend people playing in this format. It's been very rewarding to play, even with rogue decks. There are answers to Malice and to Ryzeal, and it definitely gives you a pretty big chance to win. And so we decided to take Chimera Fiendsmith into the San Antonio Regional last weekend, and we actually did really well. We got 51st place out of 300 people. We went X3 out of 8 rounds. We lost to Malice, we lost to Pure Ryzeal, and we lost to Blue Eyes White Dragon. And honestly, out of those 3 that I lost, I feel like I could have not played better. I did what I could, and the only misplay that I had was against Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes, I definitely felt like I could have won the match. I could have gotten game 1 at the very least. I don't know about the rest, but game 1 he opened the 1 of Skill Drain, and this is I think a very valuable learning lesson for all of you new players, and for myself as a new player in the TCG, and that's that you cannot let yourself get tilted over floodgates, because a lot of the times you do have the out. I did have the out on the skill drain, and I just did not see the line. It wasn't until after the duel ended where I was trying to go through the plays where I realized that I had Fiendsmith in Paradise, and I could have gotten rid of the skill drain that way. And just because I let myself get tilted, I didn't see the line, I lost the game. Now, my opponent definitely played it well, and I can't say that I definitely would have won or anything like that, but that's just a learning experience for, not just for me, but hopefully for anyone else that's watching this video considering going into their first regional or local. If you see a floodgate, don't get tilted. There might be a way. Don't give up. So besides those 3 losses, we had some good wins. We beat Mitsurugi Ryzeal, we beat Malice, and we beat Melodious. Those were our other 5 matchups, and yeah, we took them. That's actually really fun. I feel like I played really well, and for a second, I really thought that I was gonna get my X2 and get my invite to Nats. I was so close, but I just that's when I lost to Blue Eyes. But it's okay, next time. But right now, I want to introduce you guys the deck that I took, Chimera Fiendsmith, and just how fun this deck is. I actually really enjoyed it. I am not playing as Amina, because we already lose to Droll, and I don't want to lose even harder to Droll. So we're just playing Fiendsmith, and we're also playing a lot of bricks, or a lot of garnets, I should say. And I didn't want to add more bricks / garnets like Hallowed as Amina and all that stuff. So to start us off, we have our triple Nightmare Apprentice. This is the best card in the deck. It gets you access into your Fiendsmith engine, it gives you access into your Chimera engine, it gets you value off of those cards that want to be discarded. Really good. Definitely want to see it. It's also a special summon, so it can be an extender as well if you really need it. Then our best normal summon is our Gazelle. You always want to search the Chimera Fusion. That's why we're playing 3. And with that logic, we're also playing our triple Chimera Fusion, because we want to dodge hand traps. If our Gazelle gets Ash, we still want to make sure that we have this in hand to be able to fuse and make them basically feel like a bozo, because their hand trap meant nothing. So we're playing 3 of that. Then we're playing only 2 Kodal, and the reason behind this is because we want to cut in redundancy in the deck. Let's say you open a Mirror Sword Knight, a Kodal, and a Gazelle. That's a brick hand, because you go normal summon Gazelle, they Ash it. Well, you cannot normal summon with the Mirror Sword Knight, and the Kodal searches you stuff, but you cannot special summon anything that you can search. So it's just kind of useless. So we want to cut on that redundancy and make sure that we don't break in normal summons. And because of that, with that same logic, we're also playing only 2 Mirror Sword Knight. Same reasoning as with Kotal. You don't want only 1 Kotal, 1 Mirror Sword Knight, because then you lose grind game. So it does come up. And they are starters at the end of the day, so you do want to see them. You just don't want to see them all in the same hand. And I want to Baphomet, you don't need more than this. We're trying to be as consistent as possible. We do not want to see bricks. We're trying to build a minimalistic board that can play through 2 to 3 hand traps. And so we're only playing 1 Burfo. You do not need more than this. Then we're searching our 1 LZ. This serves as an extender. This is how Nightmare Apprentice is able to go into the Fiendsmith line, because with any 2 bodies, it's a full Fiendsmith combo. So Nightmare Apprentice searches LZ. LZ special summons herself. Send 2, Link into Moon, Moon into Requiem. Very, very, very good. And you can do all that without committing into your Chimera line. The other one of Tau, Diabels. So I know that I said that we want to maximize on consistency and make sure that we're playing no bricks. However, whenever I tried the break-free approach, quote unquote, and I tried to cut the Tau and the Diabels, I did notice that my inboard was a little too weak, and I wanted a little bit more oomph. I was losing to board breakers, and so Diabels is just such a good way to beat board breakers that I just had to put it back in. And then Tau, it can have some good extension utility, so we're definitely keeping this in the main deck. Then for our Fiendsmith package, we're playing our triple engraver. We're not playing 2, we're not playing 1, we're playing 3. We always want to lead with Fiendsmith. We do not want to go into Chimera and then Fiendsmith. No, we go Fiendsmith first, Chimera later. Fiendsmith eats the hand traps. Chimera does the rest. And so that's why we're playing 3. We want to maximize on consistency, no bricks. 2 Fiendsmith track, same logic. We're avoiding 3 because we don't want to be redundant. For our 1-ofs, the 1 of Lacrima, 1 of Lurie, 1 of Paradise. This is a good interruption. If we get hand trap to death, we can actually at least have the Lacrima set up with Paradise. Lurie, not always a brick. With Nightmare Apprentice, it can be that's actually like the best hand. Lurie, Nightmare Apprentice. But do remember, this activates as Chain Link 1. You cannot chain block your Nightmare Apprentice with your Lurie. I wish you could, but unfortunately you cannot, because it is mandatory. And as you can see, we're not playing the Necrom Adesset Gold and Dark Fusion package, because I think Necrom and Adesset Gold end up being win more situations rather than actually push through hand traps kind of situation. And it was taking three slots that you could just put non-engine in there. And I know that the Chimera deck usually struggles with non-engine slots, and that's why you end up playing a lot of board breakers, or like 9 board breakers instead of 12 hand traps or 15 hand traps. So we cut all the extra fluff like that package and some of our Kodals and some of our Mirror Sword Knights and our Baphomet, so that we can have space for 13 hand traps. And our 13 hand traps are carefully chosen. Because we're at 44 card deck, because we're also increasing the deck size from 40 to 44, so that we don't see those bricks. And so we are on triple Nibiru. If you're only playing 9 hand traps, I would say don't play Nibiru. But with 13, I think Nibiru is great, because Nibiru by itself, it's really easy to play around. 3 Ash Blossom. I mean, it's great into any matchup. It's good against Charmies. So we definitely want this hand trap at 3. Imperm, best hand trap, doesn't turn on talents. It's good to see it off of your 6th card. So really good. And then the MVP card of the entire regional was definitely triple Ghost Ogre. And this is what I meant. We choose our hand traps carefully, because we're playing 3 Ghost Ogre instead of 3 Veiler. We're playing just 1 Veiler. And there are a lot of reasons why. First of all, Ghost Ogre hits Blue Eyes, hits Ryziel, hits Malice, and it hits it in a more impactful way than Valor will ever do. If you're playing Blue Eyes, of course play through Valor. Like you of course have to play through Valor. You can switch that hand trap. Like it's really good. But with Chimera, we do not have the luxury that Blue Eyes has to just play 15, 18 hand traps. We have 13 hand traps, and we have to make sure they are impactful. And so with Ghost Ogre, you can Ogre the Duo Drive instead of Valoring the Duo Drive. Because if you Valor the Duo Drive, they still have a body with 3 materials attached to it. Ghost Ogre not only stops the effect, but also gets rid of that body. This is True Light, and against Malice, you can't Valor the Lizard. You cannot Imperm the Lizard, but you can Ogre the Lizard. Not only can you Ogre the Lizard, but you're putting Malice 2 bodies behind, two bodies behind to the link 3. So now they have to work even harder to get to Whitebinder. Now, not only do they have to have the second extender, but sometimes even the third extender. So that's why we're playing Ghost Ogre. And the other thing, actually, with Ghost Ogre is against Malice is, if you Ghost Ogre the Lizard and then they will get back a body because they banish for cost, and then let's say they have Sark, Special Chesty Cat, go into Splash Mage. At the very least, they're getting Cyber's Lock, so they can't do the Griffin Lock versus you. Whereas with Valor, if you cannot Valor the Lizard, and if they have to the extender, you still get Griffin Locked. This at least stops the Griffin Lock by itself. So I definitely think that Ghost Ogre is just way better than Effect Valor in this format. And it prepares you for multiple matchups, not just Malice, not just Ryzeal. Then for some non-engine, we're playing Triple Book of Eclipse, dodging hand traps, good against Ryzeal going second. So just really good choice. You could play hand traps instead of this, that's fine. You could up it to 16 hand traps? You could play 16 hand traps instead of these 3 Book of Eclipse. But I think this is so good against Ryzeal that you want to be prepared for Ryzeal. That's why I'm playing this. And then for hand trap hate, 2 Triple Tactics Talents, 1 Called by the Grave. For talents, you could play... In a 40 card build, I would only play 1 copy. But in a 44 card build, I can fine with playing 2. I don't want to play 3. I think that's too much. If it was a higher deck count, I would play 3. But with 2, you're just fine. You're always getting hand trap. It just sucks if you open like 2 of these, and then your opponent's hand traps are like Impermanent Impulse. Like, it just feels so bad. Okay, so now for our extra deck. What do we have for our extra deck? Well, for our generic stuff, we have our SP Little Knight, we have our Muckraker, and our Chaos Angel. Muckraker is really good because we can special summon our Chaos Hunter from our graveyard. SP Little Knight just helps us in annoying board states and set up minimalistic boards. Chaos Angel, really easy to make as a light and a dark. And then we're playing Necroquip with Caesar to beat Nibiru. And also, Princess gets us some nice card advantage if we go Codal, or Special Summon Necroquip, activate Codal, draw a card. So, just really neat interactions that you can do. We're playing the one of Aerial Eater to bridge from Fiendsmith into Chimera lines, because you can double the Baphomet, make Muckraker, and revive the Baphomet off of the Muckraker. Then, for Fiendsmith Link monsters, we have our Moon, we have our Requiem, we have our Sequence, and we have our Agnum Day. Agnum Day, this is kind of like your flex spot. I'm kind of thinking playing the Duke of Demise instead of this, or a Abao. We'll see. It did come up. There were some times where you just needed a big boy Desiree to beat over stuff. And if you cannot get into your Eclipse to beat the Chaos Angel or your Talents, you do have the Agnum Day as a plan C. And then we have our one of Desiree for our Fiendsmith Fusion. And then for Chimera stuff, we've got our Chimera, King of the Phantom Beasts. We've got our Baphomet, King of the Phantom Beasts, our Chimera, the Illusion Beast, and our Guardian Chimera. Very standard lineup. You could play a second Burfo instead of the Agnum Day, but that's didn't come up with me. Didn't come up for me. There was one player playing Cash where it would have hurt if they had hit the Burfo or the Chimera, but it's fine. It didn't really come up, so you can get by with only one, but it's fine if you want to play your second just for comfort. Now for the side deck, we're definitely playing our 3 crossouts because we lose to draw. We don't lose draw as much as in the Azamina Fiendsmith Chimera build or just the pure Chimera build, but because we can lead with Fiendsmith, and that does beat draw. But yeah, definitely you want to play your 3 crossouts. We also play a high hand trap count, so crossout is really, really good. Then we've got, what else we got? We've got our 3 draw for the random rogue matchups that we cannot prepare for because we have to prepare against Raziel and Malice, and also as our crossout targets. Now we do not play Ultimate Slayer, but we play 3 XYZ Encore. And I didn't really miss Ultimate Slayer because we play Book of Eclipse in the main deck, so we have 6 cards that can deal with Raziel, and we don't need a lot more than that. I mean, we technically have 9 cards that deal with Raziel because we're also playing Droll. So these 2 cards actually deal with the board pretty well because if they end on Detonator because of the Droll, you can go XYZ Encore to detach everything from the Detonator. So it's just we're definitely prepared for Raziel. We do not need the Ultimate Slayer. We also do not have the Aphrodite space to play Metal Tronus or the Ultimate Slayer. And then for the Malice Hate, pretty standard, 3 Artifact Lancia. And then our 3 Chaos Hunters. Because we play quite a bit of hand traps, I'm considering cutting this to 2 to add back row hate. But there were a lot of Solemn Strikes and a lot of back row that I wish I had a Feather Duster for, or I don't know, Feather Duster, Lightning Storm, Yearly Match, whatever it is. I really wish I had that, or even my own Solemn Strikes. So I might cut this to 1. We will see. But for now, it's at 3 in the side deck. And with that concludes the deck profile. The deck performed really well. It was very consistent. I only bricked like 2 times. For a Chimera deck, I feel like that's actually pretty good. We were ending on minimalistic boards for sure. Lower ceiling, higher floor kind of situation. Our end board was mostly looking like high wave, DDD wave high King Caesar, because we would lead with Fiendsmith, and we would try to beat Nibiru, making Caesar. And then after we were safe from all those hand traps, we would go ahead and lead into and make Chimera for the hand rip, and then set up the Chimera fusion, or go actually into Baphomet, who would later attempt to revive our Diabels. So this would be our typical end board, and we would have Kodal and Mirror Sword Knight in the graveyard. Now this is actually really good because you have your targeting protection, you have your monster effect, negate, you're beating all those quick plays and possibly another interruption, another target destruction, and then 2 special summon negates. And you still have, what do you still have? You still have your Lacrima Engrave. You still have your Lacrima Engrave with, sorry, it's a little out of the cam, but it'll have to do for now. Sorry, everyone. We'll do our best here. We're actually just going to move it over here. So our Caesar, our Bertha, our Diabels, and then we have Lacrima, Requiem, Kodal, Mirror Sword Knight, Engrave. That's a lot of grave interactions. your targeting protection or monster negate, and then your Paradise setup for a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 disruptions off of 2 cards, which doesn't sound too great because obviously Raizo makes a crazy board with only 1 card, but the consistency that is amazing. All these engines mesh into each other because they can fuse with each other. So you don't really lose synergy. The synergy is still there, and the board is so awesome. Every time that I set up this board, I didn't lose. They could not break this board. So I definitely think that cutting all the fluff like the Dark Fusion and the Necro and the Necrom and the Adosa Gold was worth it. I do kind of want to play around with it again and see what it does, but I don't know. I'm open to suggestions. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. What should I mess around with in this deck? How can I improve it? What have y'all tested? Is the Azamina stuff worth considering? And all that stuff. We will have more TCG content coming up, and hopefully some live duels at some point. So, yeah, you'll definitely see more of this deck. Hopefully, some more Crystal Beast content at some point. I've just been really enjoying Chimera right now, but eventually we will go back. We will go back to Crystal Beast. But I think that's gonna be it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day, and I will catch everyone in the next one.